I'm Billiam, and we are the Digi-Dudes!
And Paimon!
Alright, guys, this week we're talking all about the X program, or X Antibody also, because they go hand in hand together. But before we get into that, we have some other stuff going on I just want to inform you guys about and show off a bit. Alright, so number one thing going on is I got a bunch of stuff in the mail. We got some new friends to add to the collection. So, Digi-Dude, want to show them off?
Yep.
Alright, who do we get first?
Paimon!
We got Numemon, the slime lord himself. Alright, hold him still, bud.
He's
The camera's all blurry because
Paimon!
you're not holding him still.
He's Paimon, okay?
Alright, next one we got
Orgamon!
Ogremon. Looks so cool. I love Ogremon.
Ouch.
Then we got Edamon here.
Edamon the boss, Edamon,
Exactly, looking like a boss. And we have this super creepy Vademon.
Paimon looks creepy.
Yeah, he does. He is creepy. I know you've been dying to play with him. You can play with him now. And then I also got the alternate art Pinocchiomon here, or Puppetmon, to go for my deck. I've been looking for this card for a minute now because I have the regular art. I run 2 copies in my deck, and I got the regular arts, and I love this card. It's not super expensive or anything, but it was just a little hard for me to track down. Eventually, I just bit the bullet and bought it online. I like to do trades in person for cards if I can. So eventually I got one, and I love it. And then let's update what's going on with the dudes. So, Digi-Dude, who do you have on your VB? Nope, over here so we can see it. Yep, you got Wizardmon going there. Which dim are you running? Digi-Dude, what dim are you running? You got the Impmon dim. And then, and on my VB, I'm running a special Digimon here. I've got Alphamon. And if you guys are like, where the heck did you get an Alphamon from? And what dim is that? This is a custom-made dim by a Digimon fan. A friend of mine sent me this dim, Digimon Tamer on Instagram, sent me the file for this dim and told me about it, which I've seen pictures online of it, but I didn't know anybody who actually had the file for it. And it's a really awesome fan-made dim. The dim's actually made by Lejean Ron. If I'm pronouncing your name right, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry about that. He is a very nice guy. After Ryan, Digimon Tamer, sent the file to me, he told me about him, and I reached out to him, and we've been chatting. And he's a really awesome guy, and he's just wanted to make a dim for Digimon he likes. It's a Royal Knights themed dim, and it's really cool. He does some really great work, a lot of sprites, a lot of original sprites on here and everything. It looks beautiful. And I thought Alphamon tied in perfectly with today's topic. So then the only other Digimon we got going on is I have my version 4 right now with Kiomon. I've got my OG Wing Guardians here with my buddy Puppetmon. And my custom OG Nightmare Soldier with Piedmon. And these I was doing a hatch with a bunch of people on Instagram, Ryan being one of them. And we were raising original pendulums. We had some really awesome people participating in it. We had Digimon Tamer Ryan. We had Bond of Tamers, Mangala. We had the Digimon Professor. DWN there, Digimon New World Order. And Alex and I, Digi-Destin. We were all doing a hatch together. And raised some really awesome OG pendulums there, which you guys know me. I'm all about that OG pendulums. And if there's ever a hatch, I am more than down to raise a Digimon for it. Alright, so now that we got all that fun stuff out of the way there, let's dive right into the episode and the topic. Which this episode is a Patreon-sponsored episode by our Patreon supporter, War. If you guys want to know how to pick an episode topic every month, go check out our Patreon there and find out how you can help support the channel and do that yourself. So War wanted to talk about and do a history of episode on the X program / X Antibody. So, Digi-Dude, do you know what the X program actually is?
It's what turns like all the 7 demon lords and like all the royal knights into the antibody.
Not really. You're a little right, but not exactly. So the X program is actually a virus that Yggdrasil, the host server for the digital world, he's like the god of the digital world, put out to try to kill off a bunch of Digimon. And a bunch of them gained the X antibody, meaning a antibody, like to fight off viruses in your body, to fight off this one, and digivolved into an X form. So we're going to talk more about that in detail now. We're going to start with the history of what actually happens in the Digimon lore, and then we'll talk about what related devices and media that goes along with that. So, back in 2003 is the official year, according to Digimon, that this happened in. Yes, bud?
Oh, want to see something a little cool with this?
Yeah, what's up?
If you put 2 together and Ogremon and take Yumimon, watch this. Bowling!
Ogremon is using Yumimon as a bowling ball?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So in 2003 is the official year Digimon states that this happened, that the digital world was becoming overrun. There were so many Digimon in it, and so many Digimon digivolving, that it was overloading the host servers there. And Yggdrasil was afraid of the entire digital world collapsing and destroying itself, including him. So what he did is that he devised what he refers to as Program Arc, where first he creates a whole new digital world separate from the original one. Then what he does is select certain Digimon, only 2% of the total Digimon, to then go and inhabit the new digital world. And then releases the X program into the old digital world. There. It's supposed to kill off all the Digimon in the old digital world, including the digital world itself, and giving him a fresh new start on what they refer to as the new digital world. Well, certain Digimon were strong enough to resist the X program and developed the X antibody. And they were able to survive the X program there, or the X virus is what it's known to in the English dubs.
Daddy?
In the Japanese, it's just called the X program. The X program did destroy and kill lots and lots of Digimon on the original digital world. It was very effective. We see a lot of X antibody Digimon in different medias, and they're always coming out with new ones Digimon is coming out with, but there's really not that many compared to the overwhelming amount of Digimon out there.
Wait, Daddy?
Yes.
Why isn't there like an X-Devimon?
I'm going to get to that in just a moment. That is a great question, Digi-Dude. We're going to get to that in just a moment. So, while the Digimon were all killed off there, a bunch of them developed the X antibody and continue to survive. Now, finding out that there is a new digital world out there and that theirs is dying, a bunch of these X antibody Digimon are trying to cross over into the new one, which then Yggdrasil tasked the Royal Knights to go out there and destroy, kill all the Digimon who are trying to cross over into the new digital world without permission, to keeping their new digital world completely safe from the X program and from overpopulation. And that is pretty much the original story that encompasses the digital world there and with the X program. And then now continuing on to the newer second part of the story. So, the dark area, Digi-Dude,
Yeah.
is a separate area from the digital world. Technically, it's another separate world, which we've talked about in the past there, because it was created to contain Loosemon there, and its dark energy and Loosemon's dark energy kind of drew other dark Digimon there. And it's where the majority of evil Digimon live. Like the Fallen Angel armies.
Devimon!
Exactly. The 7 Great Demon Lords. And so, the X program didn't affect the dark area at all, because it was separate from the old digital world. Because, like we said, now there's 2. There's new and old, and they're going to be referred to that from now on. So, it didn't affect any of the Digimon in there. So then now that the old digital world, most of the Digimon have been killed off on it. It's mostly populated at this point with only Digimon with the X antibody now. But enough of them have died off where it is able to sustain itself. And Yggdrasil didn't have to do anything at this point to kill off that world. So now, in current continuity, there are a new and old digital worlds. One that Yggdrasil has personally hand-selected who lives there, and then an old one made of survivors of the X program who have the X antibody. Some Digimon have it naturally. Like, there's actually a good handful of Digimon that have it naturally. Doraemon, Fanbeemon, and Dracmon are all Digimon, for example, that have it naturally. And they don't, and their corresponding natural Digimon evolutions have it too. And if they're a natural carrier of the X antibody, they don't have it in their name, the X. But if they were a Digimon that gained the X antibody and digivolved into an X form, then they get it in their name, like Magdramon X. Who's some good X Digimon that we like?
Loosemon X.
Loosemon X, exactly. The X antibody bonded with their Digicore, creating them a new form and new evolution. Almost all of them are more powerful and really edgy looking. Like, literally, lots of sharp edges on them for some reason. That really makes up an X antibody. But, and increase their power also, not just allowing them to survive the program. So then now, Yggdrasil sends some of the Royal Knights to the old digital world to investigate what's happening there now, since he hasn't been focusing on, he's been focusing on the new digital world. And he's realized that the 7 Demon Lords have also realized that nobody's there guarding it and nobody's there watching over it. So then they have now started leaving the dark area to try and conquer the new digital world. This is all a big scheme and plan that Loosemon has developed there. And he's either asked and had them agreed or tricked the rest of the 7 Great Demon Lords to helping him. Because they don't really work together in a group like the Royal Knights do. They kind of do whatever the heck each one wants. So some of them had the trick, like Beauzamon kind of tricked him into doing it. And then some of them he worked out deals with, like Demon and Barbamon. But they start leaving the dark area into the old digital world to try to conquer it. And when they do, each one of them starts developing their own X antibody. X digivolving and becoming stronger. Same thing with all the Royal Knights that end up showing up on the old digital world too. Being exposed to the X program, which is still in the air there and everything, it's causing them to develop it and them to digivolve into X evolutions now also.
Wait, so Yggdrasil is not even telling the Royal Knights that the 7 Demon Lords are really trying to take over?
They found out once they showed up, is what it is. They didn't know, and then once they showed up and started investigating and figuring out how to rule over the old digital world now, they discovered this. And it causes a large war between the Royal Knights and the 7 Great Demon Lords there, and we actually never get the conclusion to that yet. So hopefully, in the coming years, we'll find out the conclusion. And that's really everything the Digimon lore comes down to with the X program and the X antibody.
It also tells us the story if you have all of the all the X devices, because that like 1, 2, and 3. Because
we're going to be talking about that right now, Debbie Dude. Good lead-in. So now we're going to be talking about related media first, and then we'll be talking about what related devices there are. So they came out with a manga called Digimon Chronicles, which was made to replace V-Tamer at the time, but then they kind of backed off on that, and they changed their mind, and it kind of came out as like a book, versus like an ongoing manga. But there was Digimon Chronicles, which was the original telling of the story of the overpopulation of Digimon, and Yggdrasil creating a new digital world, and program arc, and that whole idea that he had to create a new one, destroy the old one, replace everything. And then that kind of told the story there. There was also Digimon X Evolution, which was a movie that was released in Japan in 2004, but we didn't actually get an official English sub of it until 2020. We officially got the English sub of it. We had fan subs and things for it. And that is a movie explaining pretty much the story of what's happened there. And the Royal Knights systematically going out and killing off Digimon. They were the bad guys absolutely in that movie. Great movie. It involves no tamers at all. It is only Digimon and Digimon interacting with each other. And that's continued into what we've gotten more recently that came out in the Digital Monster X Virtual Pets. Each one of the Japanese ones came out with a little manga pamphlet there telling the story of Yggdrasil sending the Royal Knights to check out the old digital world and what's happening there and the conflict between Royal Knights and 7 Demon Lords there. So now let's start talking about related devices. So the Pendulum X was the first device to have the X Antibody Digimon in it. There was a version 1, 1.5, a 2, and a 3. And these were a 3-pronged device because that was what was new at the time. That's what they were using at the time. I'm not particularly a fan of them just because they don't connect with any of the old ones, and now they don't connect with any of the new ones because they went back to the 2-prong now. But they are a pretty neat looking device. They are different than anything we've seen before. They did introduce the Zyroll for the first time, and they introduced items to Digimon, also Virtual Pets. They're a pretty neat device. I personally don't have one. I would like to get one just to kind of have one for my collection. But it's not something I'm seeking out at the moment on my top lists. But again, if I come across one or am able to pick one up, I definitely will, because I don't have one for my collection yet.
Hi.
So now that brings us to the next wave of X devices, which is one of your favorite. What is it, Debbie Dude?
The Digital Monster X.
Yes, the Digital Monster X is one of the newest devices that come out for Digimon, and they are absolutely amazing. There's a X1, which has a mixture of Royal Knights and 7 Demon Lords there, with different X Antibody Digimon. There's the X2, which then focuses on what, Debbie Dude?
The 7 Demon Lords.
Yep. And then there's the X3, which then focuses on the Royal Knights. Honestly, they end up being some of the greatest Virtual Pets Digimon has ever put out. They're absolutely amazing. The one has had an English release as of 2021, and we're expecting an English release of the 2 here coming out this year in 2022. So they're becoming more and more readily available. They're a lot cheaper now. We're getting English releases for them, and they are amazing. Again, that's where you get that manga pamphlet there talking about their story. It hasn't been released in the English ones. It was only released in the Japanese ones, but hopefully we'll get a little manga for it or something with the English for it. That'd be amazing. Yeah, Debbie Dude. So that pretty much encompasses everything going on with the X program and the X Antibody to date. We are hoping to get a continuation of that story at some time because it left off on a cliffhanger there, ending between the conclusion of those 2 Digimon factions there. So, Debbie Dude, what time is it?
Digi-duel time!
Digi-duel time!
Digi-duel time!
And this week we actually are challenging 2 Digi-duels. So let's check them out, who they're from.
Hey up Digi-Dudes, I'm Alex, I'm the Knight Digi-Destined, and I know that you love the Nightmare Soldiers, so I'd like to challenge you with Piedmon, the leader of the Dark Masters. Let's do this!
That was super awesome, you guys, to send us those challenges and challenge videos. They look super cool. All right, Debbie Dude, who do you want to battle first? Piedmon or Omegamon?
Piedmon, Traversal!
All right, so since I have a Puppetmon and a Piedmon, I'll do Puppetmon against your Piedmon, and then we'll do Piedmon versus Omegamon afterwards.
Why
All
not
right.
Piedmon versus Piedmon?
We'll mix it up. All right. Puppetmon versus Alex's Piedmon. Who will win? Oh, he got me with double trump sword. Whoa! That was a quick victory. All right. You took the first... Oh, no. Puppetmon's injured. Let me take care of him real quick.
Can I battle him?
Yeah. You want to use my Paimon to battle?
Yes, I'll use Superman to battle his Paimon for revenge.
All right. That was a good battle, bro. Thank you for sending us that code again. All right. Here we go. Bring him over here.
Battle me.
Oh, double Trump Sword. This is Omegamon we're fighting here.
Ooh.
Oh, he got us. Oh, another double Trump Sword.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Omegamon beat us.
Okay, why are we always on the loser streak?
Oh, I don't know. Thank you again also, Digimon Professor, for sending us that awesome battle with a super sweet Digimon, guys.
Let's battle them together.
We're gonna battle together? Afterwards, we'll do a bunch of battles if you want. Alright, guys. I just want to once again give a special thank you to all of our Patreon supporters, War and
Digital Dream.
Thank you guys very much. It means a tons to us that you guys are our Patreon supporters. If you guys want to help support the channel, go check out our Patreon. It's in the description. And if you guys like what we do here, if you guys love these History of Digimon episodes, make sure you Giga Blast that like button.
And touch the video, the subscribe button down below. Oh,
It helps us out a ton. It means a lot to us. Everybody who says anything out there. If you guys want to chat with us, hit me up on Instagram. I'm very active there. I'm always chatting. You guys see me pop in and out of different Discord groups and everything. As always, from me, my family, to you, have a Digitastic day!
We battle